already starting the second week of January 2025, I want you to check in with yourself. How are those goals, intentions, or my least favorite word, resolutions that you maybe already set around body, food, health, wellness, weight loss? Like, what is already happening for you around that? Are you starting to feel already disconnected from said goals, said intentions, or worse, said resolutions? That's what I'm here for today. I wanted to check in with you. I know I haven't checked in with you guys yet about your intention setting around any kind of health and wellness goals. But if you're already starting to feel like you are disconnecting from those things, and it's like, wow, I did great the first couple of days and now I'm just not really feeling inspired or motivated or whatever word you want to use, I actually want to show you a connection between, I know you're going to think I'm a little strange, but just stick with me here. This lovely little plant, this lovely planter, and your goals, my goals, all of our intentions that we might have for the new year. So stick with me. And if you're feeling like they're already not working, I think what I'm going to say to you today is really going to help you start to shift the focus. So I got this plant, oh my gosh, you guys, almost 20 years ago. And it was given to me as a gift at end of a year of teaching on an assignment I was doing. Anyways, I've had this plant forever. I had it in the same container for many, many years. And it's gone with me to many apartments. It's lived many lives. And it's always thrived and done really well. At one point, maybe a decade ago, I had to trim it down and kind of restart one part of it, but it came back to life, no problem. Well, crazy thing was about, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago, it was not thriving. And I tried something I had done before. I cut off some of the old leaves. I changed where it was located, tried to give it a little more sun, although actually it had been on this sill for a long time now that I think about it. But I shifted its position, did some research. Was I overwatering, underwatering, trying to figure out, but it just kept really not thriving, right? There were more and more yellow leaves, and I was really afraid at that point I was going to lose the whole thing. So I finally decided to just try something to, which I've seen other people do before. I'm learning about houseplants. I've got quite a few houseplants now, but I'm definitely not I wouldn't say I'm an expert, okay? So hear me out. I took it out of the planter entirely, cut it off, and put it into a glass I think the word is propagator, right? Sorry. Again, my lingo is not great. To propagate it. But the thing that I didn't think of, I don't know why I didn't think of this, was that I had it in a container that did not allow adequate sunlight to get in. So I was like, this thing is not growing. It wasn't growing new roots, and I knew it should have at that point. So I did a little research. Hello, yes. I needed to put it in a clear glass container, and as you can see, new roots are starting to grow, and this beauty is thriving again. And although it's sad to see that it lost so much of its fullness that I had for so many years, she's coming back to life, and soon she'll be ready to, go back into a pot with some fresh soil, and we'll start again. So what the hell does this have to do with you? You don't want to hear about my plant sagas, I'm sure. This has everything to do with you, because here's the thing. This, although lovely container, maybe it hasn't been as lovely, is filled with the old soil, the way that you've always done things for years when it's come to body and food. I hear this from so many women. By the time they come to work with me, they're like, for years I was able to, if I just needed to lose a few pounds, I would just, exercise really intensely for a few weeks, or really cut back on what I ate. I was able to drop a few pounds. I'd get back on Weight Watchers or whatever the thing is that they were doing. I'd do keto for a while, whatever they were doing. And then I was able to get back to the size that I wanted, and it was no problem. Now I'm finding that the old ways of doing things don't seem to work. I can't lose the weight. I've been now in more of a struggle than ever, and I'm starting to feel really intense discomfort and unhappiness in my body. And so now I'm looking for a different way. So in other words, every time we make these resolutions, especially around health, wellness, and body, it's like we're going back to the same planter, okay? Maybe we're shifting the soil around, we're adding a little water, but we're doing things as usual, i.e., diet and exercise my way to what I think will give me body confidence, what I think will give me body peace and body joy, okay? And yes, maybe we'll be able to lose weight for a short period of time, or maybe that's not working out at all anymore, and so we're at a standstill. But in either scenario, whether we've been able to still drop the weight or not, we're still, again, tilling around in the same soil. This is us, and we don't have a chance to thrive in a new environment. We're sitting ourselves in the same environment, hoping for a different result. So I really want you to ask yourself, how many times have you made that same kind of goal, maybe in different formations, different wording, where it's like, okay, this is going to be the year I lose weight. This is going to be the year I get in shape. This is going to be the year where I eat healthy. This is going to be the year I get in control around body and food. Some incarnation of that. Just check in with yourself and see how many years has that been going on. Okay, that's the same planter, same soil. Maybe you changed the container a little bit, but initially it's the same soil, okay? And when it doesn't work anymore, when you hit a real roadblock, right? And you can see that you're not thriving, right? You feel like, you know what? Even if I do lose some weight, I still don't feel good about myself. I'm still struggling. I'm still living in my head around body and food. That's the time where you know it's time to cut our losses, remove ourselves from the environment, and actually have the courage to start fresh. Putting ourselves away from the way we've been doing it into a new container, okay? And starting fresh. But the thing is, it's not just about removing ourselves from the old container and putting ourselves in a new container. Remember, I did this with my lovely, beautiful plant that had been doing the same thing for so many years. It's also about being in a container in which the light can get through. Because just removing yourself, putting yourself in, a new situation, but the light isn't getting through, the new roots can't grow, right? You cannot propagate to then go back into a new situation, a new container, okay, with new roots, with new ways of thinking, right? Until you've really, cut the old out and also let the light in. So this comes back to you also, okay? All of us. What I want to propose to you this year is, instead of making those same goals, resolutions, and intentions, whatever you want to call them, okay? I do love the word intention. We can get into this more in another video, a lot more than resolution, and I will explain why. We can talk more about that later, but I think if at the root of it, right, the heart of it, whatever you call it, but if at the root it's still about not being good enough, over controlling food, being critical of your body, having a punishing attitude towards body and food, it's still this. It's still whatever is inside here. And the hope for sort of new roots to grow really don't have an opportunity to do so. So what I would love to propose to you this year is a whole different way of doing it. Instead of just trying to change body and food through external factors, right? What I'm eating, how much I'm moving. And no one is saying that nourishment doesn't matter. No one is saying that movement doesn't matter. But if the mentality around it is punishing, belittling, deprivation filled, right? Cutting ourselves off from all sorts of pleasure, the light isn't getting in. And the light also isn't getting in if we're not seeing the sole reasons why that challenge is there and why that challenge has been happening, right? So, in that soil where we're not thriving, Yeah, it's probably maybe related to what we're eating and how we're moving, but there's probably deeper reasons why the roots aren't thriving in the old environment. Why are the roots not thriving? What is our body story? What do our challenges around body and food, why are they here, and what are they here to show us is like a soul opening? I know this sounds really deep, and it's very different than just clicking on a video that's talking about working out more and changing what's on your plate. There are soul reasons why we have challenges in how we feel about body and food, how we connect to body and food. This is the deeper work that eating psychology offers, which is how I was trained through the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. This is the discipline in which I've trained, where we look at not just what's on your plate, but what's on your metaphoric plate, what's on your spiritual and emotional plate, okay? And that will change the environment in which you're trying to grow, in which you're trying to thrive. So, bottom line, friends, is that I really want you to have a different environment. Instead of me just having this plant here and cutting a leaf here, changing the water here, moving the soil around, okay, finally accepting, you know what, this is not the environment in which this plant can thrive, in which new roots can grow that are better, stronger, healthier, right? Where I can have this really vibrant life. This is not working. Maybe it worked for a period of time, and I can be thankful that this worked for however long it did, and what it gave this plant, i.e. what it gave you, what it gave me. But at some point, when something's not working, we have to be willing to say, this is not the right environment. And it can feel scary because we have to cut off what we've done before. But if we're willing to do that and submerge ourselves in something new and let the light in and see the deeper reasoning, the deeper causes, and then the deeper solutions, something beautiful can take place. How do we do that? Well, I'm so glad that you're curious, because this is exactly why I've created a brand new offering to you that is going to be launching, well, in terms of like when we're starting, I should say, is January 29th, and it's Body Wisdom Food Freedom, the course and group coaching experience. I want to tell you more about it and give you some more details, but for now, I just wanted to let you know that this is coming, okay? And in a few days, the doors are going to open, and I'll be able to tell you more about it over the course of the week. But for now, what I'd like to leave you with is to think about, right? What's this old soil for you? What's this old container that, maybe it's visually looks like it's working, visually looks like the right solution. We wouldn't think that this guy would actually provide so much more life force and ability for this plant to thrive, but indeed it did. Indeed it is. What has been the usual environment that you've been trying to make these changes in? Has it truly worked? And if not, what are you willing to cut off? What would it feel like to be someone? I don't want you to just write something like, oh, I'm 15 pounds thinner. I fit into my old jeans. Those are all very external and sort of superficial things, right? But like, I just want you to step into imagining if you were really thriving, right? What would it feel like on a day-to-day basis when you wake up in the morning and you're trying to decide what to eat, and it's just peace and ease. You're not overthinking, you're not calculating everything. You go and you take a class that you enjoy moving in, or you go for a walk and you're not living in your head about your body. I've had so many clients say, Anita, I don't even want to go for a walk. I don't even want to go to a class because I feel like everybody's looking at me. Everybody's dissecting my body and I just don't feel comfortable. Well, what would it be like if you stepped into those environments with ease and pleasure and just the joy of moving your body? Okay, what would it feel like when you go into your closet or you open your chest of drawers and you pick out something to wear that makes you feel good and vibrant and alive? Okay, what would it be like to greet the holidays, birthdays, celebrations without feeling like it's an all or nothing thing, right? Like I either gotta totally go for it and I'm gonna eat to the point I'm uncomfortable, or oh gosh, I gotta go to this event and I have to watch what I'm eating and deprive myself, right? Just think about what that version of you that had a more peaceful, freedom-filled, and relaxed and pleasurable relationship with body and food, what does she feel like walking around in the world? What does he feel like walking around in the world? What is that version of you like? That's what I want to leave you with today. I'll be back in another day or so. We're going to dive deeper into this. And but for now, let me know what it would be like to step out of here and take a chance into a new way of relating to body and food.